Alright, so now we're solving a different type of trig equation. This time we are actually looking for the angle. So we've been given the exact value. This right here is considered my angle at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, what angle is going to give me a sine of negative 1/2? Really, remember I'm doing inverse sine negative 1/2 equal to 2x. That's really the same thing I'm asking myself. So because I am looking for the angle, it has to be restricted. Remember, sine is first and fourth. So that's going to give me, this right here, is all going to give me negative pi over 6 because that is where sine is negative 1/2. That is also going to occur 2 pi units later, and 4 pi units, and 6 pi. We can go around that circle as many times as we want. Remember, I also took the inverse, so I have to remember to do pi minus my principal. Well, if I do pi minus negative pi over 6, I could think of pi as 6 pi over 6 plus 1 pi over 6. That's going to give me 7 pi over 6 plus 2 pi in units later. This is my general solution. So let me write this up here. My general solution for what my angle would be. But if you notice, I solved for 2x. So 2x is equal to all of that. In math, your goal is basically to solve for x. So I would divide everything by 2, and this is where people mess up. They forget that you also have to divide that period. That's basically your period. So when I drop this down, I'm going to get x by itself. X is going to equal negative pi over 12, because that's what happens when we divide by 2. Most people are okay with that. And it's also going to give me 7 pi over 12. But it's going to cut this period also by 2. So plus pi n now. Plus pi n. So this is my final general solution right here. So everything above that was just a step to get there. If I want to list my first 3 positive, we're going to do the same process. So some of you like to list the negative. Doesn't count as one of the positive, but if it helps, write that out. 7 pi over 12. He's actually my first positive. Then we just alternate. But we are adding pi this time. So I'm not going to add 2 pi. If I want to get a common denominator, I'm going to make this 12 pi over 12. And add that to get 11. Then I'm going to take my 7 pi and add 12 and get 19 pi over 12. And there's your first 3 positive.